right, time to do a follow-up video because I made some people maybe just a little upset in my last confusing canon of Sonic.exe video, which if you want to go watch that, you can, but if you are an avid fan of Sonic.exe, I do get some things wrong. First and foremost, I would like to apologize for that. That was not my intent. Sometimes my sources would lead me to, like, I would just take people at, like, face value. They tell me this, and I'm like, oh, that seems right. Because, like, you know, I'm not, like, an investigative journalist looking into a case, so whenever somebody tells me that, I'm like, oh, this is in good faith. They're giving me accurate information. Is that right for me to do when talking about a confusing canon and trying to explain it to people? No, I think that I should do my own research. And I do want to apologize to the people. My goal wasn't to in any way slander Joe Doughboy. I don't think anyone was really making that claim. But just to make it clear, my intent is not to get it wrong on purpose or spread misinformation. I'd like to say that the point of that video was just to bring up the Sonic.exe canon and not... but to try to give people an idea of what the Sonic.exe canon is, okay? I just want to point out some of the positives. First of all, you guys absolutely, like, seem really interested in it, even if it wasn't, like, you know, an absolutely phenomenal video. A lot more people clicked on it than what I normally get. And I am so grateful to the community and the nice comments that you guys leave. I don't want you guys to feel left out like I've only been paying attention to the bad ones. There are some really nice comments, right? I'm also surprised at the like to dislike ratio. First of all, 1,000 likes on a video tells me that you guys would like things related more to it. And that's what really matters to me, is the human interaction that goes into it. When I checked the likes for that, I'm not gonna lie, after I had, like, oh, this video is getting some traction, I was scared to look at the likes. Much to my surprise, there is a lot more likes than dislikes, and I'm like, okay, all right, this is really nice. Thanks, guys. Oh, because it really scared me. I thought it was gonna be dislike bomb. And I was like, okay, don't touch the Sonic stuff anymore. I'm sorry. I messed with your hedgehog. That's on me. But no, actually, there's a lot of people who liked it. So thank you guys for clicking on the video and supporting me. It means a lot to me. So let's get into correcting myself a little bit on what I was wrong on. We're going to start off with the Lord X thing. So to clear things up, all right, shout out to Mailman again, who put this to me, like, who basically kind of, like, gave me a guideline to this. So it's 2011X. 2011X makes EXE. Okay, EXE can only exist in Lord X's timeline, right? Okay, so 2011X in his young days is starting to mess around to make life, okay? Thusly, EXE is born. In his youthful days, EXE is either, like, trapped away or something is thrown out, right? Or, excuse me, EXE is kind of, like, casted away into an alternate dimension, or not an alternate dimension, but, like, his own area where he has time to, like, throw the harbingers and all that stuff. Lord X creates the Guardians, all right? Or alternatively, it could be, you know, he's 2011X, creates EXE, puts EXE in that space, and then creates the Guardians. After creating the Guardians, becomes Lord X. Doesn't tell the Guardians that he is, that EXE exists. And as you might be, like, ashamed or whatever. Yeah, so that's gonna be that canon. This to me makes the most sense because he becomes a lord after creating the Guardians and kind of, like, not only growing wiser and older, but calling him a lord implies that he has power over people and the Guardians are his people. So I think that makes the most sense to me on that's why he becomes a lord. Also, it's worth noting that in the last video, I kind of did say, or at least heavily implied, that 2011X in Friday Night Funkin' is canon to the normal one. I want to make a clear distinction now. That is not the case. I also want to say that there's a good chance that all this stuff is just going to be rewritten or made into something else entirely. So EXE may not be related to Lord X in the future, or they still may be, but just went about it in a different way. I'm going to give my thoughts here for a second on that. I kind of like the idea that Lord X may have something that he fears. And this is my take on it, okay? I think that having Lord X fear something kind of humanizes him, which makes him interesting. It's the same reason why I like Tricle, because it humanizes Lord X and makes his vessel dying, right? That's why I like Friday Night Funkin'. This interdimensional, super powerful being now has a weakness and is now humanized. Same reason why I like Broken Face or Sonic. I'm going to refer to them as such. I read a comment where Raven was trying to break away from it being 2017X to make it uniquely distinct from the reboot by JC. And I honestly don't really want to fully bring up JC. I don't believe them to be anyone that's great and has been confirmed accusations. So that being said, I will refer to them as Broken Face, just cause, or Sonic, quote unquote. So Sonic in this case has a weakness because whenever he would see Sonic, he would have a mental breakdown. If you guys want to know more about Sonic, I made a whole video on him. But essentially it's either this, okay? I'm still confused about this because so many people were saying different things, all right? It's either it is 2011X or it isn't 2011X. But in my opinion, how I want to view it as, it is Raven's character. And associating it with a different character, I've thought about it, and I don't think that's like fully right. I think unless Raven exclusively states that, I think that viewing Broken Face as its own thing is what makes it unique and is what is probably the most respectful thing, because that at the end of the day is Raven's character, and they are trying to do something with it. Same with Lord X, though 2011X may not always be Lord X, but Lord X will always be 2011X. That could change in the future. Honestly, we don't know. It could also be that 2011 will branch out into either Lord X or Lord Mortis. I want a preference. Sonic Legacy is its own canon. Okay, I thought that there was a chance that, but it says that it is a canon timeline. But it's not it has its own canon entirely. And the thing in Sonic Legacy for Sonic, quote unquote, is a placeholder for now. So that could also be updated. These are characters that are still being written and developed, specifically Broken Face and also EXE. Along with potentially Lord X as well. Another things that I want to point out, I'm going to refer to this character as Zeno. I know it's based off of the philosopher. That is an entirely, while that is Sonic.exe, it's entirely different things. I did show the render of FNF. I do feel like that was a little disrespectful because honestly the art for this is really good. What I want the main takeaway to be from this is ultimately this is about a somewhat scary, maybe unnerving hedgehog that has been through hell, which is ironic because it puts people through hell. But from it having one owner to the owner not being a great person, for it spreading to other people, it gaining different canons. And despite what you guys might say, I do think it's still a little confusing because some of the information doesn't always match up. Some people have a completely strong opinion about it, will tell you one thing, and then another person will be like, well, actually, it's this thing. And then they get really specific with it. Well, it's actually this thing. That's why it's confusing. And that's why I didn't title the video the Sonic.exe canon explained, because I knew I wouldn't be able to do an amazing job at that. Rather, I just wanted to kind of bring light to it and maybe get more people interested in EXEs. I can see maybe the implication could be oh, it's confusing, so don't get into it. But if I can get more eyes on it, right, people do put thoughts into these creations, and they are cool designs at its core, and maybe they'll have future games, and it's cool to see them in Friday Night Funkin'. I like to see them move. I like to see them have songs. Subterfuge is a banger. I know some people don't fully agree with that, and I can respect your opinion. But in Friday Night Funkin', I'm a little biased because that's like primarily like where I'm from Friday Night Funkin'. I was in the game actually. So I want to clear some things up. Not sure if this video will do as well. I did just want to set the record straight. If there's anything that I forgot, anything that you felt strongly about, let me know down in the comments below. Ultimately, please just like what you like. You can even make headcanons for these characters, and that's okay. And don't listen to anybody else who told you that it's not okay. I think Joe does have an appreciation for alternate timelines and them existing, and I'm sure that he doesn't mind the different variations or him being put into FNF mods, right? I've already rewritten this one, but I have to go rewrite another.